Patrick, a lot of people see you guys as the villain. Either sick of the Chiefs, whatever. I mean, how do you feel about having everyone out to get you guys, I guess?
I try not to listen to it too much. I think more than anything, I just try to embrace who we have in this locker room and the personalities and how we enjoy playing football. And I believe if we play football the right way and we compete and go out there and play our best football, that I'll always have my guys' backs. And so we got a lot of good dudes in this locker room, and all we're going to do is compete and try to win football games.
When it comes to names like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Derek Jeter, ones that are synonymous with the words 3P, and your name and the Kansas City Chiefs organization could be involved with that. How much is that just a motivating factor to win this game even more, just to be on the line of legends that those names are?
Yeah, I mean, I think you always want to leave a legacy and kind of make your imprint on history, but more than anything, you just want to accomplish a goal that you have with your teammates. And when you start at St. Joe, your goal is to win the Super Bowl. We know it's a hard process. We know it's a hard week in and week out, but I'm proud of how our guys have kind of went about that process, and we know it's not going to be easy. This team we're playing is a really good football team, but we're going to go out there and put our best effort out there and play as a team, and hopefully that's enough to get a win.
And how much have you admired those athletes like Kobe and Michael, and how much they've influenced you in your career?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think more than anything is you see the competitors that they are, is that they're going to do whatever it takes to win, and that's what you have to be in order to have success in professional sports, is a competitor, someone that's going to put in the work every single week. And watching them and listening to things that when they talk about, that's helped shape my career on how I have to work. And obviously, that's a long way, I feel like, still for me to go to be mentioned with those guys, but I'll try to do whatever I can to be close enough as I can be.
Patrick, you've talked before about how every year is different and the journey's different. Is there something that stands out about this year's journey to this point, understanding you still have one game left?
Yeah, I think just, to me, this team's been special because it's been everybody. I mean, if you look at our entire season, it's like someone that makes a big play at the biggest moment to go out there and win a football game, if that's offense, defense, or special teams. And so I think the fact that it's been everybody, it's not just offense, it's not just defense, it's everybody on the entire team is something I'll remember this season by, and hopefully we can do it the right way and get this final win.
Films caught last year, you talking with Chris Jones, I'm sure you've seen the clip of just immediately thinking about the third. And I guess as you think back to that, why do you think it was so fast for you that you wanted this one in particular?
I don't know if it was just this one in particular. It's just when you're on that stage and you're celebrating, you start thinking about the guys that are coming back. You think about how young that football team was last year, and you knew that we had a chance to be in this position. And even though you're winning and you're enjoying that moment, you enjoy it, but at the same time, you have a bigger picture of your entire career. And I want to have as many chances as I can to be in the Super Bowl. And it's cool to have guys like Chris and Trav that I've kind of spent my entire career with and won all these games with. And there's a few others with James, Winchester, and Harrison. And I'm probably forgetting someone here or there, but it's cool to have these guys. We built such a great friendship and almost become a family, and I think that's really cool.
Patrick, when you look at your Super Bowl success, the three that you've won, a lot of fourth quarter success, and obviously last year even overtime, is it a point of emphasis you always want to start fast? Is that something that has popped in your mind at all?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not just start fast, but just be consistent throughout the game. I think there's been games where we started fast and we have lulls, but you have to be able to deal with adversity, and whenever you have those moments, just being able to respond. And so we've played a lot of good teams in the Super Bowls, a lot of good defenses, and we've done a good job of kind of figuring out. But if we can start fast, obviously it would help out and make it to where we don't have to necessarily have a fourth quarter comeback every time. But however you find a way to win, you find a way to get a win.
Andy mentioned the fact that you guys ran 65 toss power trap last week. I wondered what it was like calling that in the huddle, and what the appreciation you have for the history of that play, too.
Yeah, for sure. I wish I would have scored. It got close. Yeah, the history of that play, the history of this organization, it runs through this entire team. I mean, just like last week, getting that Lamar Hunt trophy back at home, I mean, it's special for us. And that's one of our goals, is to get that trophy and to win it at Arrowhead. It's a special moment. And so being able to run that play, one that I've watched and one that we have a room named after, next time we'll just try to find a way to get it in the end zone.
That play happened like 25 years before you were born. So what do you know? What do you know about it?
Well, I think what's cool about this organization. I know what's cool about this organization is that we always go back and look at the history of it. And if you look at Hank Stram and Lynn Dawson and all the Hall of Famers, I think it's like 6 or 7 Hall of Famers on that football team. We go and we have museums and we learn. And I talk to other guys and other quarterbacks whenever they come in our room, like Carson or Chris or whoever that is, about the history of the Chiefs. And so I think that's the cool thing about the NFL is that you can look back at these special moments in organizations and really what defines organizations. And so that was a huge moment for this organization.
What makes you guys aware of those things? Is it Andy? Is it Beach? Is it Donovan? Is it somebody else?
It starts with Clark. I mean, we talk about it before every single training camp. Then it goes down through the line. And I mean, when you're with Coach Reed, you hear the best stories of all time. So I meet with him every single Friday, and we talk about the game plan. But that becomes kind of like a story time where I hear these stories about the great. I hear these stories about the great. Untold stories of the history of the NFL, and one day he's going to have to write a book because there's some great ones in there.
You just mentioned Clark. I mean, there are other owners that are much more in the limelight and in present, and we don't see a lot of him there. What is he like as an owner? When you mentioned Carson coming in, guys that have played for other teams, is that something that even permeates the locker room, or is that so removed that you guys don't really feel his presence that often?
No, I think Clark does a great job of being there and showing his support and showing that he is invested, and you can tell he loves it, and not only for his family but for all of us. And then at the same time, letting Coach Reed help run the organization, the football side of it. But he has a huge impact on this organization, the way that he comes to work every single day, and he's there and he's always there. I mean, it is really cool to see, and Texas guy, so all the best are from Texas.
We'll go four more. Go ahead,
There you go.
Nate, and then you go to that.
You've spoken before and even now about pretty direct motivation with things like the three-peat and things like that. It doesn't seem like Andy talks that way or thinks that way, that he's always kind of in the moment. I wonder if you ever heard him talk about that kind of goal, or is he always just on the next? And what do you think drives him then?
I think what drives Coach Reed is just the greatness and becoming better people every single day. I think that's something that is special about him is he doesn't care if he's playing week 18 or week 1 or Super Bowl or preseason game. He's the same. He's the same. He's going to expect greatness out of you. And when you leave the building, he wants you to be a better person than when you got in the building. And I think that makes it you want to be better every single day that you're in the building. And so when people talk about three-peat and everything like that, we're focused on how we can be better today to prepare ourselves for the next day. And it starts with him.
Do you ever hear him say something like three-peat? Does that ever come out of his mouth?
I think the only time I've heard him say it is like to the media whenever y'all ask him about it. So he's very locked in on just how can we be great with our cadence today at practice. So that's just the stuff that Coach Reed focused on.
Nate.
Patrick, I think Clark mentioned this after the game on Sunday, but the experience of having Kareem at your wedding and that being a catapult moment that maybe you didn't know at the time that would lead to him having this redemption arc, just what do you appreciate most about what Kareem's done this season? And I guess in a simple term, why did you choose to invite him to a pretty significant day in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, I mean, with Kareem, I mean, obviously he made his mistakes, but I knew the person before and I knew the person after, and I knew that he had a good heart and he had to learn from his mistakes and become a better person because of it, and he did that. He dealt with the consequences, and he's kind of tried to rebound and just be a better person for the community more than anything. And so just knowing him and how close he was to me, but also how he treated Brittany and how he treated my family has always been special. And so I wanted to have him at my wedding. I didn't think anything of having my coaches. I was just having all the people I love at my wedding, and obviously I think Coach Reed talked to him there, and they were able to talk about just things, and we never knew that was going to be coming back to the Chiefs, but getting them back now, you can tell he appreciates the moment. He appreciates being out there on the practice field and being in the building, and it's been fun for him to have the impact on this team that he's had, and it's been a big impact, and to get to the Super Bowl with him, because as someone that I was one of the first people I met when I got to Kansas City, and not to be able to enjoy those Super Bowls with, and to finally get to enjoy one with him will be a special moment. Hopefully we can get a win. He can enjoy that too.
Patrick, you've got some guys like yourself and Chris, Travis, like to trash talk onto the field. Woke up the wrong gentleman.
Yeah.
But Andy seems to have a distinction between trash talking off the field and showing your personalities and doing it off the field, like interviews like this. Super Bowl week becomes a big part of that. How do you balance that, and how does Coach kind of encourage that too?
Yeah, well, for me, I'm pretty good at, I don't really talk trash unless I get trash talked to me. So I'm usually pretty calm. But Coach Reed is great about showing your personality, and we want you to go out there and play with fire, and we want you to show how much you care about the game. But we have respect for the game as well, and so we respect the guys on the other side of the football. We know how hard it is to get to this point and how great of a football team and great football players you have to be. And so that's why it's just genuine. You're just honest, and you respect the guys on the other side of the football. When you're in between the lines, you show your fire, you show your love for the game. But when you're off the field, you show respect for the game, and I think that's important. And I think that's why we're in the position that we're in.
Nick, and then we'll finish with Matt.
Test your memory here. Bill Snyder, we talked to him yesterday. He called you the best quarterback he ever went up against. You remember much about those games? You've always been a historian about the games, too. Did you have an appreciation maybe at the time you were a freshman out there playing against a Snyder on the sideline or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first off, playing against them and then getting those letters after the game, I've kept those letters. And so just a true great person, an iconic coach, and an iconic leader. Just made his imprint in football forever, especially at K-State, but just throughout the Big 12 and football in general. And so played a lot of games. Well, I think I only won one of them. I came into the fourth quarter, I believe, of one of them, and then played in at Texas Tech. We lost. I mean, we won at Texas Tech in Lubbock, and then went to K-State, and I came off injury, and we ended up losing that game. Tried to do a Hail Mary at the end of the game and got hit. I think I threw a pick to DJ Reed, who's in the NFL. So it's always cool when you play the greats against the greats, and you get to see their impact and why they're so great. And so it was some fun moments for me in college.
Did you get a letter after every game, or how many?
I got two of them. So the first one I didn't get one because I came at the fourth quarter probably, but then the second one and the third one I got one.
Patrick, the Alex Smith trade was 7 years ago today. When you think about all your success since then, how did Alex leave an impact on you to get to where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, just showing you how to be a professional. I think that was the biggest thing, and how to go about your business. Obviously a great dude, someone that comes to my charity golf tournament still to this day, and I spent a lot of time with Alex and his family, and I think more than anything, he made an imprint on how you prepare, how you go about your business every single day, and how you get better. And for someone coming out of college and going into a professional world, it helped speed up the process of me becoming who I am.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Patrick.
No injuries to give you here. Look forward to the challenge of playing the Eagles. Heck of a football team. Very well run from ownership on down through. Nick's done a heck of a job there with the football team. Howie Roseman bringing the players in that they have, and they're very talented. And so well coached and very talented. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
Andy, you faced this team back-to-back years, one in the Super Bowl and one in the regular season, but with the addition of Saquon Barkley, just how much can you tell that has improved that team's offensive and the way they go?
Yeah, sure. He's a great player, a potential future Hall of Famer. He was tremendous at New York, and he had a great year this year with the Eagles. So he's helped them. Especially the rush game, but he can catch the ball. They've got a quarterback that can throw the ball, and two wide receivers out there that are tremendous, and a couple tight ends too. So they're fully loaded on the offensive side. But to answer your question, he's been a great addition for him.
Andy, with your love of the history of the game, I don't recall whether did you watch Super Bowl IV when it happened as a kid?
Yep.
Do you remember?
Nope. I remember. Yeah, I watched all of them. Yeah.
Well, that goes back even before your pump passing pick episode, I guess.
Yeah. That was. Yeah.
Would you ever consent to being mic'd up during a game, like Hank Stram was?
Yeah, I'm not big on that. Not big on that, but.
Have you ever run 65 tower trap?
We did last week. Yeah. We ran it last week. Yeah. The one that Pacheco caught. Tried to score. We didn't quite score, though. Wasn't as good as the one they ran.
You've done the Super Bowl in New Orleans before. What do you remember about that? What, 97 game?
Yeah. That's a great city. And the hospitality was unreal back then, as I'm sure it will be now. They know how to put on a show. And but as coaches and players, you don't get into too much of that. So, but it's a great city. For the fans, I think it's great. Yeah.
Coach, your head coach at that time was a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In what ways did he influence you as a head coach?
Yeah, Mike Holmgren. I felt like when I worked for him, nobody did it better. I still feel that way after being a head coach for all these years. He's a tremendous teacher. I mean, great teacher. So took a ton from him in all areas. How he dealt with players and also the football part. He's got a great mind.
Coach, obviously you can't win without great players, but you've had great success in your 60s. Bill Belichick did. Is that kind of becoming the new sweet spot for coaches? And if so, why is it, you kind of settle in and are as good as you can be, it seems, at that age in the NFL?
Yeah, I think they put something in the Geritol. I don't know. It's probably the experience, I guess, if you had to, and then you got good players, which helps, and good coaches, so good organization. We were fortunate to have all of those things, if there's something in common, with that. But
is patience one of them? Do you find that,
Yeah, I think you're probably more patient. You've seen a lot to get to that point. And so I know I'm more patient than when I was a younger head coach.
Coach, you're up for one of the finalists for AP Coach of the Year. You won it a couple of decades ago. It's a weird award. Sometimes there's two they don't expect much for. I know you don't care probably if you win this thing, but I think it would be still an honor to be to this point of it with everything you guys have gone through this year that's been recognized by folks.
Yeah, listen, I think it's great for everybody involved. Everybody's got a piece of that. So if that happens, it's great. But I look at those more as really a team honor because it's not a one-man show. So you're really saying that your coaches did good, your players have done well, the organization's done well. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I wasn't even sure that was going on, but you could have just made that up.
Coach, one on your
when you ran 65 toss per hour trap last week, was that the first time, and is that also what it's called in your playbook too?
Yeah, that's what we call it. So it's a tribute to the old guys. Yeah.
Had you run that before, or was that last
No,
time?
that was the first time, yeah.
A lot has been said about Patrick's locked-inness in the postseason. Have you seen that evolve over the years that you've worked with him, or has he always been able to maintain just that consistent focus?
He's been good with that. I'd say that's been a consistency. You can really see as the season builds up, he's even more focused, and you get to this time of the year, he's really locked in. Yeah.
I'm curious if you've heard any of the reactions this week calling him, Michael Jordan, right? What do you make of those kinds of comparisons?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I've tried not to listen to anything. I had to do my media things, but I don't tune in during the season at all.
Andy, on that,
Yeah.
on that, just this continued issue of you guys maybe getting a friendly whistle, taking away from the actual accomplishments on the field. You've probably been asked that before, but just to react to that.
The what?
The allegations of getting a friendly whistle. There's a change.org petition out there to look at officiating as regards to the Chiefs. I mean, I know you've heard about it. But.
Yeah, whatever. I think everything balances out. I mean, you got a human element there with the officials. These guys are trying to do the best job they possibly can out there, and they take a lot of heat one way or the other, and coaches take a lot of heat one way or the other. So I don't pay much attention to it.
Coach, does your team use that as motivation? Is that something you're settling into that point where everybody's kind of, you're not the new guys on the block winning now. People are kind of tired of you winning. Is that?
Yeah, I don't care.
Fuel that?
Honestly, I don't get into that. I don't use that with the guys. I mean, I just want to make sure we get prepped, and as coaches, our responsibility is to give them everything we can give them to be even greater than they already are. And then make sure we're digging in on plays to help them with that, and then for them to focus in on learning it and keep themselves physically fit and mentally fit to go play. I mean, there's enough to do just with that, where you don't even have to pay attention to the other stuff.
Coach, one on your plans for this week. Joe Tooney's been so good out at left tackle, but DJ's still in here. Is there any temptation to push Joe back in and go with Humphreys, or will you be sticking to what you've been doing?
Yeah, it'll probably be the same. I mean, we'll rotate them all in there, but I think probably end up being the same when it's all said and done.
Nate, let's go, Nate. We'll go across for a minute. Go, Nate.
Two things, Andy. What
is it about Spags' blitz package that that you find most compelling?
Yeah, so he doesn't do it every down. Sometimes you have this stigma of being a blitz guy, and it's when he does it, and then how he knows the protections or the run scheme, for the run blitzes, how he understands the scheme and when to go ahead about using it. So I think that's what makes him so unique and why they're successful. You can blitz. They know the blitz is coming. They pick it up, and it's one of those deals. You call it, the offensive guy calls the right play for that time. Well, his objective is to find when that's not happening.
Off the field, because you are going back to New Orleans, mind sharing your favorite meal in New Orleans?
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, there is one. Emeralds. Not that I turned any of them down, but when I was with the Eagles, the chef there, the head chef, tremendous chef, he was a huge Eagles fan. So he invited me over, and he said, I'm going to start at the ocean and finish in the mountains. He put me in the kitchen, and he said, have at it. So he says, I'll stop when you're full. So 4 hours later, we were done.
You worried he's going to poison your food this week then?
I probably won't go there.
Dave?
Andy, I was wondering if you could sort of reconcile the Brett Beach that used to run out and get you hamburgers as an intern in Philadelphia with the Brett Beach that goes out and gets you players now. And did you ever foresee this happening in his career way back then?
Yeah, I thought, listen, you could see right from the get-go his energy and how smart he was, and and then his passion for the player side of it. So those guys that came in, I gave them the opportunity to either go personnel or go to the football side. And he was so passionate about the personnel side and just digging in with it and finding guys. And you look at Deshaun Jackson and McCoy and Cox, all those guys. He's throwing those guys on my desk, saying, you got to get these guys. So he just had an eye and a knack for it, and that hasn't changed. Yeah.
We'll do last three, Rob, Sam, and Vi. Go ahead, Rob.
Coach Reed, your advice to the rookies and the players experiencing the circus of opening night for the first time?
Yeah, what's kind of neat about that is you get people from all over the world that show up. Now some of the questions are a little bizarre. So our Brad G talks to them just about how you handle those. That's important. It might be a joke for them, but what you say is what you say. So you got to be careful how you present it and present yourself. So for the rookies, that's all new. The veteran guys kind of know that, but the rookies, it's kind of a wild event.
Sam?
Andy, I'm sure the players are hyper aware that there's so many people watching this game. You guys have played in big games before, but I'm sure nerves can still be a part of the equation. What's the key sort of early in a game of this magnitude?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's preparation before you get there. You've got to make sure that you have everything going. Your juices are going to be flowing. So you've got to make sure you get in there and prep, and so you're not thinking about things while your juices are going, as much as you're just going out and playing. But yeah, no, you get excited. Yeah, it's an exciting game, but you don't want to hide that either. So and then you just kind of settle down as you go through.
Go ahead.
Andy, I know you've got the nice relationship with Bill Belichick, and you just did a podcast with him. Did he, when you won number 300, did he specifically reach out to you and congratulate you for that?
I believe he did. Yeah, yeah. He's he's a good friend. So he's great with all that stuff. He's the guy. This is all old hat for him. So I have a ton of respect for him as a coach. So, but he's also a friend. Yeah.
So not like welcome to 300 or anything like that.
No, he's never going to really reach the real 300. It's a lot of cheeseburgers that went into that 300.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right.